Hey guys, hey guys, hey guys, hey, 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 hey. So, I know it's a little soon for me to already be making another Chantal video, let alone a Chantal video that is about her water fast. But y'all, I have been feeling particularly pressed about this all day because people frequently ask me why I make so many videos about Amberlynn Reid and Chantal Marie, Chantal's show, Foodie Booty, all of the above, all of them. They ask me so frequently, like, Zach, why do you do this? Like, why are you so obsessed with them? People say that I'm fat shaming them, that I'm bullying them, that I'm doing this, that, the other. And on the contrary, I really don't see it like that. Like, I make videos about these people because I feel like they clearly misinform their viewers. They, in some cases, lie to their viewers. And they spread just misinformation in general about dieting and weight loss that I think is harmful to a community that is potentially searching because they feel vulnerable and they want to see other people that they can connect with about losing weight and find inspiration and things like that. I've always felt very uncomfortable with the way that they exploit their weight and talk about their weight and do nothing about their weight in a way that is authentic and providing accurate information, accurate medical information, things like that. On the other hand, you know, this is not about these other channels, but that is why when people ask me to react to or make videos about people like Candy Fox or Pink Fairy or Life by Jen, who's a new person I've started following, I don't have time to make videos about them because they're normal people. I don't hate fat women. I don't hate fat people. I don't like people who give misinformation about things. So Life by Jen, for instance, if you're not familiar with her, she's somebody who is taking medical advice from a doctor about how to go about losing weight. I respect that, and she's doing it, at least from what I can tell from watching her briefly. Candy Fox doesn't make her channel about weight or weight loss. Yes, she refers to her weight when she does try-on hauls and things like that, but that's because it applies, right? So her channel's never been like, I'm trying to lose all this weight, here's all the ways I'm trying to lose this weight. So y'all thinking that I just like hate fat people is inaccurate when the reality is I particularly make videos about Chantal and Amberlynn because at this point they've proven time and time again that they're inconsistent, that they lie, and that they provide misinformation about important health and weight loss and things like that. Chantal specifically has 47,000 subscribers currently right now on YouTube. In addition to that, I did the math earlier today because I was curious, and her whole little series of this water fasting, so from the very first video she made at the new year saying that she was going to do this, up until the last video that she made where she broke her fast, her videos for that whole little like series of videos that she did averaged around 19,000 views. 19,000 views, that's a lot of people watching you spread misinformation. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, and like the grand scheme of the world, is 19,000 a lot? No, but that's still a lot of people who are coming to your channel to learn about weight loss and getting misinformation from you. So that is why I take particular problems with our girls, right? That's why I'm frustrated and continue to make videos about it, because as long as they keep putting misinformation out, I feel like somebody has got to hold them accountable for that. So this video that I'm making today is gonna be a little bit different then, because a lot of my accountability conversations with these two particular individuals are usually just like me reacting and saying ridiculous things, and I might still say some ridiculous things today, but I want to show you the receipts because Chantal in particular loves her Netflix special, loves her YouTube video, loves her Wikipedia, her WikiHow, her Google. So I'm going to give you the receipts that I have found. Now, are all of them medical providers? No, I don't know like actual doctors that I can go and talk to about these things. But I've at least tried to pick sources that can be verified in some way or have other sources that are backing up the things that they're saying or are parts of peer-reviewed journal articles. So that's what this tea is going to be about today. Here's the tea with fasting. So many people today have said, Zach, fasting is okay. Fasting is this. Fasting is that. I get it. People have been fasting for a long time now. It didn't just start this year, last year, 10 years ago, right? People have been fasting for a number of different reasons. Historically, primarily for religious reasons. It's a key part of the religion of Islam, right? So like people have been fasting for a while. This is not new. And people even sometimes do medical like related fasting, right? Frequently, you know, if you're about to have a big medical procedure, doctors will ask you to fast prior to that happening before they like operate on you and things like that. And sometimes I think it could probably even be recommended for different health issues. I'm not talking about any of that, okay? Let's just be clear about that. That is not what Chantal is doing here, okay? She is not doing that here. She explicitly was going without eating and starving herself to lose weight. She started the conversation off talking about her cysts, but by the time that she broke her fast, it was about the weight. She was doing this to intentionally lose weight, starving herself, not eating to lose weight. That is not healthy. So when y'all say that I should give her a pat on the back and then I'm being too harsh on her because, wow, Zach, 6 days is a long time to go without eating. Yeah, it is. You're not supposed to. And yes, in my live stream, I made mention of saying that 6 days was not long enough. Like she said she was going to do 21 days. And that's true as well. My point in that was that, again, she's not being consistent. She promised one thing, that she promised a goal that she couldn't meet, and she didn't meet it. And that is something she continuously does time and time again on her channel and sets herself up for failure. But that's the last time I'm going to talk about the number of days, because the point of this video is that that type of fasting is not healthy. It's not supposed to be a thing. It's not good that she's encouraging others or even suggesting by proxy of her doing it herself. It's not good that she's putting that misinformation about healthcare out there like that. And it's particularly not good because she's taking one disordered type of eating behavior, so the binge eating that she frequently says that is a problem, and she's replacing it with another type of disordered eating. She's replacing it with not eating at all. You don't replace one bad thing in your life with another. That's not how you fix things. Chantal's the queen of wanting to bring up comparisons to heroin and drugs and alcohol and other substance abuse and saying that her food addiction is like that. But if that's what she believes, then she can't also sit here and say that it's fine for her to replace her binge eating with not eating at all. Because that's, in her logic and her metaphor, that's like saying it's okay to not do heroin as long as you're just doing cocaine. She needs to understand that this is problematic behavior. And we're going to talk more about fasting and whether or not you should do that while claiming that you have an eating disorder as well a little bit later on in this video. The first thing I really want to touch base on and debunk is that she spent a lot of her first couple of videos focusing on a guy named Loren Lockman. Now, Loren Lockman formerly was a medical professional who actually got a cease and desist letter from the Maryland State Board of Physicians, and they said, you can't keep claiming that you're a doctor when you are doing all of these things wrong. Now, Chantal is aware that he was on a website called Quack Watch. She mentioned it in a video. She said that she was aware that people did that and that she didn't care. I just want to make sure y'all are aware of what that website says. Now, I don't know what the reliability of Quack Watch is, but it does link to things that talk about the different cases that the Maryland State Board of Physicians had with him. So you can actually go click on those links to see what the outcomes of those cases look like. In addition to being given a cease and desist, they had to pay a lot of fines, and it also outlined some of the issues that Loren Lockman and his business partner, Timothy Trader, had at his little Tanglewood Wellness Center retreat. Now, this is important because one of the things that Chantal said was a reason for why she ended her fast was because she didn't have the luxury of being on the retreat to have them assisting her. Let me know if you think that this is the kind of assistance you would want, because these are the kinds of things that they were found responsible for doing at this wellness center retreat thing that she's talking about. So on a retreat, a diabetic woman died on the watch of Lockman and his business partner, Timothy Trader, who I just mentioned. Both of these gentlemen were fined and given cease and desist letters by the Maryland State Board of Physicians because of that death. So basically, she was going into diabetic ketogenesis or something like that. I don't know. It's all outlined on that website, which I will link down below and also put up here on the screen probably. And they were refusing to treat her with insulin until it got to the very worst, because they made her stop taking insulin as a part of this retreat, as a part of her fast. And it got to the very end where they tried to give her insulin to save her life, and by that point it was too late. There were 3 other clients that appeared to have suffered impairment of their memory as a result of the prolonged fasting. And another patient became emaciated and developed beriberi, which is a severe B vitamin deficiency as a result of the severe fasting that was taking place at Loren Lockman's wellness center. Do you see why this is problematic? She is following these recommendations of not even really a doctor. She's taking this advice and she's also perpetuating it. She's putting it out into the world. This is his advice that she followed. He has a requirement of a 21-day fast as a part of his wellness center, and that's what she based her 21-day fast on. Yeah, I do think it's problematic that she is fasting and starving herself at all. So I do want to be clear that this isn't even the first fast that Chantal has touted on her channel as a solution to her cysts, her weight, or just as a means for detoxing, right? So she has done this multiple times on her channel. This is not the first fast. It probably won't be the last fast unless she really takes to heart something I'm saying in this video. It is a repeated behavior that I find to be very problematic on her channel. And so I wanted to just share some general information that I found about fasting. Now, the first source that I have does come from WebMD, so I recognize that that is not the top source when it comes to medical advice, but I will say that the things that I find in this source are backed up by other sources that I have, and it was really like a platform for where I started to do my research and found other things that supported what I was trying to say. So in grad school, we learned that, well, at least at my graduate school, I learned that it's important to have a ton of different sources that basically back up one thing that you're trying to say. You know, does that make sense? So I found this article on WebMD called Diet, Myth, or Truth: Fasting is Effective for Weight Loss. And it's written by Kathleen Zellman, MPH, RD, LD. So she's got the medical qualifications to be writing and speaking about weight loss. So she does do a lot of talking about fasting, who's done it in the past, why people have done it, etc. Some things I want to pull out specifically from this article that I found to be particularly insightful and helpful in thinking about what else I needed to know about fasting to know if this was like good for Chantal to be talking about on her channel. The things that stick out to me is that this was written by a doctor who says that in general, fasts for longer than 3 days are not healthy. And the other thing that I took from this article is that there's no such thing as detoxing, or no need for detoxing, I guess, more so in your body when you have organs that are designed to do that for you. So I think that those are particularly helpful things to think about in this case, because Chantal had no business doing any kind of fast for longer than 3 days. Now, like I said, I didn't want to just rely on WebMD. So I also found an article on Healthline.com, which I also feel like is really helpful because they had a ton of citations to actual peer-reviewed journal articles that backed up the things that they were saying. So the name of the article is Water Fasting Benefits and Dangers, and I will be linking this down below so you can go read for yourself, evaluate the information for yourself, assess it, let me know if you think it's a good source, whatever. This is also written by somebody who has RD after their name, so I assume that they have credentials, and like I said, it's all evidence-based. So the thing I want to say here that backs up one of the things that was said in the WebMD article is that their recommendation is that any type of fast that happens longer than 72 hours should be medically supervised. We know our girl, Chantal, did not do those things. And I think in one of her videos, she threw like a throwaway comment in there of like, oh, you should consult with your doctor. But she didn't role model that behavior at all. The other thing that I want to point out is that this article specifically takes the time to say that there are some people with certain conditions that should not fast. They shared this for people who might be considering fasting for all kinds of ways. So the people that they list as folks who shouldn't fast are people with gout, people with either type of diabetes, chronic kidney disease, folks with eating disorders, which Chantal claims to have, older adults, and pregnant women or children. And they had different articles that talked a little bit about why people with those health issues should not fast. This is important because our girl talks frequently about how she has a binge eating disorder. And like I said earlier in this video, my concern about her binge eating disorder is that she's trying to replace it with another disordered type of eating, right? Like she's going from, I don't know how to control myself from binging to I'm not going to binge at all. I'm not a therapist, a doctor, and anything, but to me, that sounds not healthy. So they do link to an article specifically that says fasting increases the risk for onset binge eating. Meaning if you go through a fast, you are more likely to be at risk for binge eating. So why she thinks that this is going to be something that is going to help her with her binge eating disorder when there's science out there that suggests that this is problematic behavior for folks who suffer from that type of eating, type of disordered behavior, I don't get it. I surely don't. I get none of it. I get none of it. So you can kind of understand then why I'm so frustrated that people want to give Chantal pats on the back for this. You're encouraging behavior that is scientifically not good for her. You're encouraging behavior that could lead to her conditions getting worse. You know, it doesn't make sense to me that we would rally behind that. She might have been more consistent than she has been in the past, but that's not worth putting yourself in a situation where you are putting yourself at risk of further issues and further complications. So you might be wondering, what should Chantal do? Well, I'm not a doctor, but I do know how to draw a pyramid. So this is my little pyramid that I created because I feel like this is how we need to communicate with Chantal now, is in pictures and pyramids. So at the bottom, my number one suggestion for Chantal, because I'm not a doctor, is to go to a doctor. You have life-threatening, supposedly, allegedly, cysts that you have complained about since I have started watching your channel, and you have done absolutely nothing about them. And if weight loss is a goal for you, which I'm not saying it has to be or should be, but it seems to be something you're interested in, and if weight loss is a goal for you, then you should get medically sound advice from a doctor about how you should go about losing that weight. Because I'm sure if you told a doctor that you didn't want to immediately jump to surgery and see if you could try to lose some weight to change the impact on those cysts, that a doctor would be willing to give you some sound medical advice about how you could go about losing that weight. Further, the next step in our pyramid is go to a therapist. If you actually have an eating disorder, then you need to treat it just the same way that any other addict treats it, which involves therapy. It involves talking to somebody to talk about the things related to your addiction and your disordered behavior. You're not gonna fix it by sitting here and talking to YouTube and sitting here and eating your feelings and sitting here and coming up with 12 different plans for weight loss. You're just not gonna do it. So go to a therapist and talk to them about your problems and come up with some plans of attack or plans of agenda, if you will, to solve those issues. The next thing is implement the advice that you get from medical professionals. Whatever they say to do, do it. And the last thing is, honestly, leave YouTube, girl. Leave YouTube. Seriously, I'm serious. You seem to have come back from that month off with renewed energy, and I don't know if that's giving you too much credit or not, but it does feel like you came back with new energy, even if it was energy that you devoted to doing something that is unhealthy. You came back with energy. I have said this before, but I really truly think you just need to leave YouTube. The time that you would be able to devote instead to folks in your life who support you, believe in you, want you to do better, would be very beneficial for you. I honestly can only talk so much more about Chantal and even Amber Lynn when it comes to their weight, because I'm sad. I'm exhausted. I don't like to see people fail. I also don't like to see people lie, and not just lie to the viewers, but lie to themselves, because it's truly just uncomfortable. I know that there's probably other things out there for these folks that they could be doing more, but they're trapped into this feeling of needing to do all of these crazy diets to try and heal themselves. And, you know, I said in a tweet today on Twitter that I don't even 100% blame Chantal. Honestly, I truly don't. You know, our society puts a lot of pressure on all humans, particularly women, to look, act, feel a certain way. And unfortunately, that leads to them falling into these traps like the Loren Lockman trap, right? But that also doesn't give her like a blank slate and a blank check to just do whatever she wants and perpetuate misinformation. She still needs to be held accountable for that. But I do want her to get better, and I think that it's tragic that it's come to this. That's all I got. So, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to let me know down below. I love responding to all of your comments. Also, make sure to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell notification as well. I'm sorry that this was a little bit more of a serious video, a little bit more of a stern Zachary Michael, but I promise in the future it won't be. Also, follow me on all of my social media. I'm doing this all out of order, but follow me on all of my social media down here. I hope you all learned something from this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!